Hello and welcome to Ask Timely. My name's Seb, I'm one of the co-founders here, and this is a new video series we're going to be doing where you can send any question you have straight to me, seb@timelycoffees.com.au, and we'll do a small video covering how we do things relating to your question at Timely. So the question for this week comes from Aaron, and Aaron asked, for our micro lots, do we roast them for espresso or for filter? And to answer this question, it takes a little bit of a backstory. And I guess to start, if you're not familiar with it so far, if you ever go to a roaster and you pick up a bag or a box of coffee, you might notice that it says on it, roasted for espresso or roasted for filter, for example. And the reason this is done is because historically it's been assumed that espresso roasted coffee needs to be roasted darker. So to a hotter temperature, or it should be in the roaster for a longer time. And this is done essentially because a lot of espresso is served with milk. So, once you pull an espresso and you put it into a cup and you put a lot of milk on top of it, the darker you roast it, the stronger that coffee is going to taste. So really, when you think about it that way, you don't really need to roast a coffee for espresso. You need to roast a coffee to go with milk. So at Timely, what we do is we roast coffee either, and whenever we roast our coffee, we always put on there a serving suggestion on the packet as well. So we'll either roast it to be best served with milk or best served without milk. And then there'll be some like our house coffee, Timely One, and that is best served with or without milk. So the idea is that instead of thinking about how the coffee is going to be brewed, we think about how the coffee is going to be served. So how you're going to actually enjoy that coffee. If you're going to be brewing a filter, and maybe you're going to be doing a plunger, or maybe a V60, like a pour over cone, or maybe you're going to be having a long black or an espresso, because that coffee is just being served on its own, we feel like there should be essentially one style of roasting for that coffee. Because what we're trying to do is we're trying to represent the coffee as well as possible in its final form. So when we get a coffee into the roastery and we get a sample in, we taste it, and then we think to ourselves, what makes us really excited about this coffee? What do we love about this coffee? Why are we picking this one over another one? And when it's flavor, we try and replicate that in our final roast profile that we're going to be sending out to you. So when we are roasting and we're profiling our coffees, we try and find a profile that is going to be as close a representation of what we tried and what we sampled when we first got that coffee to us. And that's what we try and do so that when we can give it out to you, you can see exactly what we like about the coffee as well. But when we're serving it with milk, the reason we roast it slightly more developed or darker is so that when we roast it and then we put milk on top, it doesn't just taste like a cup of milk. It's not so weak that you can't really get anything about that coffee out of it. So we don't think about roasting for brew method. We don't think about roasting for espresso or for filter. We think about how that coffee is going to be served afterwards. So that's why when you go into Timely, you'll see best served with milk and best served without milk. But also, that is only a recommendation. For our Timely 2, for example, we say best served with milk. That means that if you put it in a plunger and you put milk on top of it later, that's also going to be really delicious. It's not for filter, it's not for espresso. Brew it however you like, but if you're going to put milk with it, that's going to be particularly delicious for us. But like I said, it is a recommendation. If you have Timely 2 and you like it black, then that's really great. You should totally do that. And then if you have, Timely 3 or one of our micro lots that's roasted, to be served without milk, and you make a flat white with it, or you make a cappuccino, or, a chai latte with an extra shot or whatever, then that's great as well. Whatever is going to taste great for you, that's what you should be doing. So we have recommendations on there to give you a place to start, but these are not hard and fast rules. They are just recommendations based on how we taste the coffee and what we think of it, but please, we really encourage you to try it and to do exactly whatever you like so that you get your ideal coffee out of it. So that's pretty much how we roast our coffee. It's not for espresso or filter, it's just black or white, but there are really no rules. It's all about what tastes good to you. So thanks, Aaron, for your question. And remember, if you've got any other questions, anyone, send them to seb@timelycoffees.com.au and we'll do another video covering it. Thanks very much.